Hello everyone and welcome to another podcast Monday. Sadly, Nick Newcomb is not with us, but we still have Peter Monkholm and John Terrell. How are you wonderful people doing today?
I guess cold at the moment. I'm back in the former GTR24H studio, where it's now packed up with all our GTR24H stuff in the background because we're waiting for the new studio to get ready.
Okay. And what about you, John?
It's been a busy day. Been doing a lot of stuff with my son and stuff like that today, and been going around to renovating the house and stuff like that. So it's been a busy day, also in the garden. So it's the spring starting. So I just want to get ready for the summer. So yeah,
spring is starting. We're getting ready for the summer as well in terms of the championship. Now, we spoke a little bit about the Nürburgring 24 hours last week, but let's dive into a bit more because the week has passed. We've got some new info to come through as well. John, would you like to highlight that for all of our viewers?
Yeah, there are actually two major stuff which is going to be coming up very soon. The R-Factor 2 Hill Climbing Championship is actually arriving to GTR as well. And we will also be launching with our GTR24H content on Motorvision's new coming project, which I cannot give too much details about. It's very, very close by. So it's going to be some interesting, maybe next 14 days or something like that. And more stuff will be revealed about that.
We'll speak a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry, go on, Peter.
Did you mention that certain meeting that we have with those certain people as well, John?
Which one you're referring to?
I can't say that because I don't know if you said it, so...
I haven't. I haven't. That's the reason for that. I just want to be 100% sure of that everything is going the right way and stuff it launched and it makes sense. So, yeah.
I feel it's just a very important meeting with some very important people when it comes to the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about... I think that's okay, right?
Honestly, to all of our viewers who feel like they don't know what's going on, don't worry, I'm in the same boat. I don't know. This is just Peter and John just trying to get me excited over stuff. Now, John, I do believe that the 24 hours of Nürburgring is going to be dedicated towards Sabine Schmidt.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that we want to celebrate at GTR is primarily Sabine's unfortunate, very too early death. It's something that we at least need to show from GTR's side of things, that we want to cherish her for the life she had and the way she actually presented motorsport for women. So I do believe that this is something we really want to show to the world, that we want this as much as possible to be a part of motorsport, both at us and also hopefully on others as well. So yeah.
Can I contribute with an anecdote here?
Yeah, please do.
You know, everybody I think knows the Top Gear episode with Sabine Schmidt, where the first time she appeared with the Jaguar diesel that Jeremy was trying to take around the ring in 10 minutes. That video and Sabine Schmidt is actually the reason why I went and drove the Nürburgring, and some of the reason why I do sim racing today at all. That's because of a particular guy named Alex Rees and his fascination with the ring, which actually started with that video, and that sort of became his mission to go to the ring and drive his Ford Sierra 2.0 around the ring in sub 10 minutes. And he actually did that with me in the car, so I was kind of co-driving for that lap. I went around, as many people know as well, I went around in my own very old Suzuki Alto. I believe this was in 2007 or 2008. I went around in 11 minutes and 38 seconds in a 65 horsepower 1.0 Suzuki Alto.
Impressive. I haven't been around the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife yet. Maybe at some point I will. But yeah, as you were mentioning, John, it's the
I have a mission. I have a mission with my cars.
Okay.
Every one of them has to have driven at least one lap on the Nürburgring. So before the Skoda Superb says goodbye, we'll go, Yusuf, and I'll take you for a lap.
Perfect. It's like, you know, a rite of passage, you know, before this car can move on to the afterlife. First it must do the green hell, you know.
Yes.
Hell before heaven for Peter's cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now you mentioned the Hillclimb Championship, and this is something that I've only found out about earlier today, and it sounds very exciting. So why don't you explain why it's so exciting, John? And I believe Peter has some very cool images to pair up along with your...
Yeah, tease that now so people can sit.
Yeah, I do think that as we see now in sim racing, there's been a lot of like rallying stuff and normal endurance racing and like sprint races and stuff like that. But bringing this to the table is something different for us, and also more exciting, because I do think it's a breath of fresh air, and it's also something that I think that would create a lot of interest, because it doesn't take too long, but there's a lot of practice in it. So the races would be something in between, like, or the rounds would be something in between 1 hour to 2 hours. It depends on how many players are at the track at the very beginning. And it also takes a good amount of skill to actually do it. I think it was a couple of days ago in this before this weekend, I was actually practicing a little bit with Peter, and I have to admit Peter has been practicing a lot. I haven't.
No, I haven't.
You guys are lucky I wasn't there with you.
I tried to run it on the track actually. I would say it didn't go well.
Okay. How many crashes were there? More or less than 5?
A lot more. I managed to drive outside the track over the mountain.
This is sort of a sequence of events. I'm quoting John now. I'm not good with rear-wheel driven cars. Then 5 minutes later, I'm not good with front-wheel driven cars. Then 5 minutes later, I'm not good with all-wheel driven cars.
John's all about bikes, right? Just the one rear wheel. Two rear wheels is just too much for him.
I don't know. It's hard. It's actually really hard. But I think that actually also shows that when you actually see somebody who's actually very experienced and they actually complete the track that fast, and when you actually have been driving on that track, you just know that guy is an alien, and this is why I do think that this is going to be exciting, because it shows you how good these drivers actually are, and what is actually more interesting with this coming championship, there's actually real race drivers who actually does real hill climbing as well in that series. Okay. So it's a joint cooperation between GTR24H and the rFactor 2 Hill Climb Championship. So we are gonna pair together and do a season in the Hill Climbing Championship and see how it goes with the viewers and stuff like that. So it's going to be something of a new start for GTR. But I do think already by watching other drives at the tracks and stuff like that, it's actually very entertaining to watch. So it's going to be exciting for the viewers to follow it. So for us, it's also exciting because it's something brand new. So yeah.
Now
let me just run through here. I'll put up the screenshots. So I got an email from John, the guy who runs it, and he just immediately name dropped 5 different drivers. One of them is Marcel Gap. It's not this. It is actually this particular BMW E36 with a Judd V10 engine in it.
Okay.
It sounds freaking amazing. Like that really does literally tear up the track. I'll find another one as well, because there's here we go. That'll be Marcus Blass. That's an Opel Kadett C, heavily modified, I think you can say.
It looks fairly modified.
It looks fairly modified. It's about twice the width of an actual Opel Kadett.
Twice the width?
Yeah, something like that. Like,
how big are those rear wheels?
Have you seen the fender flares on that thing?
I have not.
No, there's an on the left rear fender flare. There's an actual warning saying that these fender flares are really, really wide, and you can't step close to them.
No.
Okay.
There's Jeremy. I'm gonna kill this one because Noriat, something like that. Noriat, he's in a Norma M20 FC, so that looks kind of like the LMP cars that we're used to. I think, except this one's an open cockpit style. I believe the Normas are already in the game as well, in R Factor 2. Can't remember if it's the M20 FC or it's a different one. There's some more of these hot hatch popular 90s cars. This one's Peugeot 308 Maxi. Really, really cool car. Really, really fun. Like, that goes up the track like a go-kart. It has absolutely zero problems. Like, one of the fun things is like ripping the handbrake and still going just full throttle around the corner. Just immediately after you rip the handbrake, full throttle, and then just tear it around the corner. It's fun.
I think actually, Peter, sorry to correct you, it's a 306 Maxi.
It's a 306. Yeah, it is. It is. Sorry, my bad. There's some well-known icons as well. This is a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth. This is four-wheel drive and has about 500.
Is that the Sierra? Did you say?
Yeah.
I think my dad
Sierra
had
RS Cosworth. This particular one is, I believe the original was a 2-liter one. This is a bought out 3-liter with 500 and something horsepower. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This one, the one that you do, Yusuf.
This one? Oh. Yeah. I can't remember the name now. I can't remember the name. I know it's a Lancia.
In Delta Integrale.
Oh, the Lancia Integrale. See, as some of our viewers may know, when it comes to road cars, my knowledge is not the greatest on it. And I'm just going to say Peter and John showing off their age. But I will show off my age in this one, because that is a Rothmans Williams 1994 livery. And I really, really like that livery. I don't know why. There's something about that livery that's so iconic from, Ayrton Senna. There's just, that livery's just got a special place in my heart.
This particular car was produced in a very short period, I believe, because very quickly after this it became the Opel Manta instead. But for a while it was the Opel Ascona 400. You can see the more soft suspension and old style driving here, because it's lifting the inside front wheel when it turns the corners. Otherwise it just gets crazy oversteer when you go on the throttle.
Just give some of the viewers a little, how can you wrap up?
DTM icon. For everyone in Denmark, this is a very special car, because this is the one that Nicky Thiem's dad drove in the DTM in the 90s. I believe actually Jan Magnussen drove it in the 90s as well. It's in 92. It's a Mercedes 190. But this is not with the original Mercedes engine. This has been swapped as well for, you guess what? A Judd V10.
The Judd V10s are coming through. Now, John, I do want to ask one question about this, because our viewers and myself, we've seen a lot of different cars being shown on the screen. Are there any limitations to what kind of cars people can take onto the Hillclimb Championship? And if there aren't, will there be different classes for,
Yeah, there's a Group H SP1, SPE1 class called 2000, and there's an SP1 Plus 2000 class, and a Group H special class as well. Just to give a few names of the cars you can actually handpick, there's the one Peter showed early on, the Porsche 306 Maxi, the Clio RS 200, Golf MK1, actually Golf 1. There's a Type R Honda, Audi S1, Volkswagen Corrado, Escort VRC, Focus WRC, Lancer Evo, Lancer Delta Evo, the Sierra Cosworth, the Subaru Impreza. There's a Norma M20 and a Delara F312, Taurus Master as well, Alfa Romeo 75 and Alpine A110, BMW 2002 Ti.
A lot of cars.
There's a lot of cars.
Many cars.
So many cars. So
I believe there's about 50 different cars or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So you can pretty much like enter in different of the class. There are already a good portion of drivers already signed up for the championship. So
43, I believe.
43, yeah, something like that. And there will be some room, but I think they will be limited. So it's gonna be something that will be a fast sign-up process, and then the championship is like well going, because we expect. Can we actually launch that already? When we're actually going to launch? Are you ready for that?
I'm excited to hear this. I haven't heard it yet.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's on the 24th of May. We're gonna air the first episode of the hill climbing championship. That's approximately less than a month from now.
Okay, 1 month. So we've got a lot to get excited for. So to get a bit more details on the hill climbing championship, I want to know, how do people enter? And, how long is a championship going to be? How often is it running? Once they enter, can they only stay in one car, or can they switch cars but have to stay in the same class? What are the rules surrounding the event?
I love you asking all those questions right now, Josef, but I think we're not finally 100% there.
Not yet. Okay.
There's gonna be a complete season of races now coming in, and the first one I said is on the 24th of May, and the next one is on the 7th of June, the next one on the 28th of June, 12th of July, 26th of July, and so forth. So it's going like until end of November, the season. So it's gonna be something very interesting to do.
I got the website on stream right now, so if people want to go check it out, it's hillclimb-virtual-championship.net.
Yeah.
These are the guys that run the series. I believe right now, if you want to sign up, I think the best way to go is contact John here at GTR24H, and then we will relay the contact and everything for people to sign up, because John that runs this, because he's also named John just to make it confusing to the maximum, he needs to know that these people have entered from GTR24H, because everything with the cars and everything and who gets the cars and everything is quite secretive right now, because as you can hear, 50 cars. And yeah, there has to be a level of trust with the people that enter this series. The way John went about it is he's actually contacted every single one of these teams that drives these cars and gotten written permission from these guys to use these particular cars. These are cars, all of them are cars that run in the actual real life European Hill Climb Championship.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I think all the cars in the games is primarily livery, which actually resembles the real car as well.
Yes.
So that's why you also need to have all those kind of approvals in hand. And because of the COVID situation, as we said earlier, most of these racers are racing in the simulators from home. So for them, it's also good to have something to do. So that's why it's going to be as well.
Let me just check the calendar here, because the upcoming round was this Col Saint-Pierre, You can Google this on Google Maps and find that actual piece of road in France where this hill climb is held, and you can compare that to the track in game, and you will find it is the scenery around the track is not perfect in any way. Like that, you can see that it's made quickly and that he had to hurry to make all of this. But other than that, the road itself is like a mirror image of the real thing.
Well, maybe some of the guys from One Move Esports might have to head on over there and get some extra practice in. I think most of them are based in France.
Col Saint-Pierre is in the southwest of France, so I don't know where they're located at.
Yeah.
It's in the Central Massif.
Yeah, but this calendar does not fit. It's actually the one on the front page, which is the right one.
Yeah, we had to have the calendar moved around a bit in order for us to get all the overlays and graphics and timing and everything up and running, and we actually haven't even started doing that yet. So yeah,
That's a ton of work still.
A lot of work for me.
John and Peter, it sounds like you do have your work cut out. From me, anyway, these are all the questions I had ready to give out. So if there is anything that you two would like to discuss or bring forward, please do so. Otherwise, I think we can close off this week's podcast.
Yeah, that's one final thing I'd still recommend. If there's a lot of team out there watching, we still have our 24-hour Nürburgring race coming up from the 14th or 16th of May. There's a prize pool of 1,500 euros. So you have the chance, so you can actually join up in 4 different classes: the SP9, the SP8T, and the SP7, and the SP6 class. There's primarily an article out which describes the entire event. There's also all the directions for what you need to know in terms of how to join. And what is also very important, because I had questions already, it's free to join. So you don't have to pay a submission fee to actually be part of the event. So you can literally just sign up with your team as long as you have 3 drivers and you have some experience. And that's
the prize money is split evenly between the classes.
Yeah.
Right now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 SP9 cars, 1 SP7 and 1 SP6. So SP6, SP7 and SP8T. If you sign up in the BMW M2 CS right now, you'll be the only SP8T car on track, which means that you'll get a fourth of 1,500 euros.
If you complete the race.
Yeah, if you complete the race, that is.
And I would say, in terms of last year's show, I think we had 35 or something like 35% of cars not completing the race. So that's actually quite a lot of teams. So Nürburgring is still a killer for the cars and the teams, and it's quite exhausting. So it's something I would say is a milestone for teams not being able to do it before. So please join up. You have a hell of a time. So yeah.
And do we need to mention that you can actually potentially you cannot crash out of the race, because you can always rejoin with a fresh car.
Yeah.
You just lose a couple of laps, but you can still complete the race no matter what, and you never know what's going to happen. So the winner might actually be someone who rejoined twice.
Yeah,
maybe even more. But no, yeah, for sure. Almost £400 for each class, so make sure to join up, sign up, and it should be a banger of a race. R Factor 2 coming up in May. John, Peter, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back next Monday for more podcasts. Are we going to have next Monday's one live streamed, actually?
I hope so, and we were trying to talk to John from the Hillclimb series to have him come on as well. So if we live stream it, people will be able to chat with us and ask questions through the text chat.
Yeah, much as possible. We try to see if that's possible, and of course, because it's a talk show, we might invite other people in from companies and stuff like that as well. It even might be late at night, but some are based in the United States, so they might be able to jump in and talk about all sorts of different things. So we will try as much as possible to do that for the coming talk shows over the next coming months. So yeah, stick around, I would say. As Arnold says, stick around.
By the way, Yusuf, do you have any interviews with any of the teams planned for the next week?
I do not have any interviews. I might have to dip into some of the teams and see if I can catch someone unawares, but we'll have to see. Keep your eyes peeled on the GTR24H page to see when interviews do come through.
Can you try and hook up with Simon Marshall and talk about their entry in the 24-hour race? I believe Satellite Racing has 2 different cars as well signed up, so that's quite interesting as well.
Without a doubt, I'm sure we can do that, but that is everything that we have time for on the podcast. Peter, John, thank you so much for joining me once again. To all of our viewers, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the next podcast episode.
Bye!
Bye.